Drum.
You've spent your life believing you should be living on the other side of the world, in a country you've never even visited. But when push came to shove, could you actually go ahead with the move? Especially when it meant potential heartbreak.
George Hobbs believes his destiny lies down under.
I am, at heart, an Australian person. Although I've never been there, I feel like that I would be a happier person there.
But when some aspects of a trial week disappoint...
This house would be a reason not to come.
It would.
And his wife can't bear to leave loved ones behind...
It'd be really hard to leave my mum, really, really hard.
Will George's lifelong dream be gone for good?
Just being pulled in two directions. And in the end, we have to make a decision.
With one of the lowest population densities in the world, it's no surprise so many Brits flock to Australia's spacious shores every year in search of a better life. Today the country has over 1 million UK-born residents. But the move doesn't work for everyone, and each year 11,000 people make the journey back home to Britain.
Ancestral ties to Australia have given George Hobbs a yearning to uproot his family and start a new life with them on the other side of the world. Achieving his wish to visit the country at long last, he'll now have just 1 week to convince his young children and wife it's where their future lies.
The journey to Perth has taken the Hobbs almost 10,000 miles from home, and 18 hours in the air hasn't been a pleasant experience.
The journey was horrible.
I hated it. We were determined to get here and say, yeah, no, we feel great. Although we look all right, we're absolutely shattered. And yes, it is a long, long way.
George can't believe his feet are finally on Australian soil.
This is a lifetime's ambition, to see Australia for the first time. Fantastic to be here.
But the upcoming week will be no holiday, and wife Paula's already feeling the pressure.
Thinking about it as a permanent thing is incredibly scary, really scary.
George knows just what's at stake in the week ahead.
We have to make a decision about whether we're going to make the move out here, so it's serious stuff.
A lifetime of dreaming hangs in the balance as the family set out on a week of discovery which could change their lives forever. Meet the Hobbs. Dad George, Mum Paula, Paula's son Jack, who's 14, Eddie, age 9, and Evie, who's 6. Life's good in the UK. With a beautiful home, secure job and loving family, George wants to give it all up for a new life down under.
I've had this dream of going to Australia for at least 40 years, really, ever since I can remember.
It's really inside him. He really is something that he really feels like he belongs there. Part of his heart is in Australia.
George's fascination with Australia is inspired by his great-grandfather, Sir Joseph John Talbot Hobbs. He moved to Australia in 1887 when he was just 23. The young Brit went on to design many of Perth's most important buildings, and on the outbreak of World War I was given command of the artillery of a division of the Australian Army.
That's Edward VIII presenting some medals with my great-grandfather in the background there. And at the end of the war, that's the command of the division, great-grandfather in the middle and Edward VIII right next to him.
A triumphant war campaign saw George's great-grandfather highly decorated, and George is incredibly proud of his achievements.
These two and these two are his knighthoods. These are the British medals, and then there's two Croix de Guerre with palms, which the French gave him because most of his success was in France.
On the hero's return to Perth, a statue was erected in his honour, one George has only ever seen in a photograph.
And on the statue, he's got these medals on him. I've always wanted to go to connect up with his history.
George has been captivated by his Australian heritage for decades, but he's the only one of his 6 siblings never to have visited.
I was going to go at the end of university for sure, and then I didn't do that, and then jobs and children came along, and I've still not managed to do it.
Both George and Paula have children from previous marriages, and to date, time's never been right to explore a move.
I had Jack, he had John and Mads, and then Eddie and Evie came along with us, so it just didn't seem that it would ever be possible for us with our family dynamics.
With his 2 older children at university, George believes now is the time to not only visit, but uproot and move his family down under for good.
You know, we have a great lifestyle here, and we don't want to lose that. We don't want the children to lose what they've got. You know, they want them to gain from going to Australia. We're in a good place, but we could be in a better place, and I think Australia would allow us to achieve that.
Paula's all too aware of how much passion George holds for the country.
I kind of feel, as his wife, it's something in his heart since I've known him, and I feel like it's important to support him in that. At least try, at least give it a go.
But a move for her would mean potential heartache. Following her husband's dream would mean abandoning the close relationship she has with her mum.
My mum and I are very, very close. I'm her only daughter. I've got 3 brothers. Gave us a great life. We've all done really well. Now she's old, I feel like it's time for me to look after her. Yeah. It'd be really hard to leave my mum. Really, really hard. Definitely.
The whole family's future depends on their upcoming week on the other side of the world, and if Australia can live up to the paradise built up in George's mind over decades of dreaming.
It's a long, long dream, and what's riding on the week is finding out whether that actually is just a pipe dream.
He's got such high expectations of going out to Australia. This is what he thinks he's been waiting for all his life. On the one hand, I want to support his dream. On the other hand, I feel like I'll be letting down the people I love most in the UK.
It's make or break time for George. The next few days will either see his family following in the footsteps made by his great-grandfather over 120 years ago, or stay put in the UK forever.
I think the chance to go now has got to be grabbed. And it's a last chance, because if we don't do it, this little window of opportunity that we've got, then we never will.
The family will be spending their trial week in Perth, but one person's been left behind. Paula's son Jack's had to stay at home to study for his upcoming GCSEs. The final leg of the rest of the family's journey brings them to Mount Lawley, a sought-after suburb on the city centre's outskirts. This 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom property will be their base for the week. Will it come up to scratch?
I was hoping for something a lot bigger.
Maybe not.
It's a bit gloomy.
Oh dear. It is an oh dear, I'm afraid.
And small.
It's far from the start George was hoping for.
This house would be a reason not to come.
It would.
If it was all we could afford.
Yeah.
Although it hasn't been the best introduction to Australia, George's spirits aren't dampened.
I'm already dead keen to come. So what I need to find out is that realistic? Is what I imagine life's going to be like here actually what it's going to be like.
But the whole family is aware of the dilemma Paula will face at the end of the week.
My mum needs convincing. Cause a little bit.
Yes, just a little. She doesn't want to leave her mum.
On the plane, I was thinking of my mum. The distance really hit home. Is this place going to offer me enough to leave what I've got, which is great. What I've got at home is great, it's brilliant, and I think I've realised that even more over the last few weeks, thinking about coming on this trip.
After years of longing, George is finally in the city his relative helped build, and he's determined to make it work.
I'm really going to try this week to put my excited head away and really look at it in a practical way to really help us make a final decision.
Back in the UK, the Hobbs live in a 6-bedroom detached farmhouse just outside Lancaster.
You know, a lot of people might look at us and think, you've got a great life, why would you want to go and live anywhere else? And we'd agree with that up to a point. If there wasn't a better option, we'd be staying here.
Yeah.
The couple would have a healthy budget of £700,000 to find themselves a home in Australia, and they know exactly what they're looking for.
Something which is really spacious, really open plan, goes out to a lovely pool.
Big enough for us and our other children. There's going to be a lot of boxes to tick, but we won't go unless we find what we're looking for.
Finding the perfect family home in Australia could help get Paula on board. To give the family an idea of what's available on the Perth property market, we've arranged for them to view 3 properties, 2 close to their budget and a third which should be everything they're looking for in a dream home. The search begins in Alfred Cove, 6 miles south of Perth. Nestled on the banks of the Swan River, it's a well-established community with plenty of good schools and excellent transport links to the city centre. This 5-bedroom, 2-bathroom family house should have all the space the Hobbs are looking for. Hopefully it'll impress more than their accommodation.
Guys, here we go.
Lovely.
It's a lovely hallway, isn't it? Oh, should we have a look in here?
Oh, it's a bedroom.
This is a lovely, lovely room, isn't it? This is what I would expect of a bedroom with an ensuite in Australia. This is probably bang on.
It's a good start.
Yeah.
Oh, no, another bedroom.
This is a sweet room. Is that the side of somebody else's house there, then?
Yeah.
That is, isn't it? That is slightly weird.
Neighbours may be just too close for comfort downstairs, but the view upstairs has more appeal.
I think looking at it
So
from
quiet,
here,
isn't it?
it's so quiet with the tree line.
Mum and I could sit up here
Quiet.
watching
Yeah, I do.
you playing out the front on your bikes.
George is already visualising this house as a home, and everyone else seems impressed too.
Oh my goodness, this is beautiful.
Whoa.
This is... I love it.
I could definitely see us here, could you?
Yeah.
Could you, George?
Definitely.
Yeah.
See. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a thumbs up inside, and outdoors also holds some Aussie appeal.
Built-in barbecue,
Look at this. This is
sitting
what we're
area,
talking about, isn't it?
Oh, whoa.
and pool. It's got everything we want.
It's absolutely beautiful. It's fantastic.
This outside area is small but perfectly formed. It's
Yeah.
just spot on.
Yeah.
This property's gone down swimmingly well with everyone, but is it somewhere the family could afford given their £700,000 budget?
I think it's going to be over 700.
Dear, I think it's somewhere between 650 and 7, I think. Right, are we ready?
Big moment.
This is the moment. Are you ready? Are you going
Drink
to do
it,
it,
live or
Eddie?
die on
Are
this
you going to turn
turn.
it over?
You ready?
Come on.
Go for
Go
it.
on.
That's £19,000 over budget.
That sounds a lot in dollars or pounds, doesn't it?
Okay.
Whew. That is stretching the budget, definitely.
But could it be worth finding the extra funds?
I think we could do that, but we kind of don't want to be coming here and having a lot of stress in our life because we've got a huge mortgage again. So we'd have to think about it. It certainly doesn't kill the dream, though. Definitely not. Definitely not.
This house may have impressed, but affording it could put some pressure on the family's finances. Will home number 2 be the perfect fit for the Hobbs' plans and wallet? It's in White Gum Valley, 12 miles from Perth, but close to the lively city of Fremantle, with its bustling streets and cafe strip culture. Will this 4-bedroom property sound the right note?
Do you think we can go in? Right, here we go. What's this room then? Ah, this is a bit...
Gosh, this is big.
I'm not keen on the fact that they have the bedrooms at the front of the house.
It's right on the street, it feels like,
Yeah,
which
you
is
do.
a bit strange for a bedroom.
It is a typical feature of Australian homes, though. This house has a stunning open-plan living area.
Gosh,
Oh my gosh, this is different.
this is rustic. This is definitely rustic.
I actually think it's a really cool house, really cool. But I don't know
a bit
whether I
too
could
cool
see
for
me
us.
living here. Imagine those windows getting absolutely filthy. Imagine trying to clean those.
And the windows aren't the only issue.
But it's got no pool, which isn't a massive deal for me.
It is for me.
It's a lot less beautiful and perfect than the other place.
But downstairs lies a more appealing feature.
Oh my gosh. It is a wine room. It'd be perfect for us. This would be a great room for the kids, for as a teenage
playroom,
den. Would be fab.
Finally, something positive. But upstairs...
Oh,
Not necessarily this one. But...
this is our bedroom.
Oh, right, okay.
The master bedroom's not quite what they were expecting.
It's just taken a definite dive. Yeah.
Wow.
I wouldn't particularly like to have my bedroom open to the living room and the kitchen.
No. I think this is a deal breaker.
We're definitely together in not being keen on this. Yeah.
This house probably isn't going to be the one to persuade Paula to make the move. But if it falls within their £700,000 budget, could the price change her mind?
I'm thinking 650.
I'm thinking 650 too. Yeah. Shall we do a drum roll? Are you ready?
It may be £34,000 under budget, but the family feel it's overpriced.
Here we've got not enough bedrooms, less bedrooms, no pool, and yet it's still quite expensive. So slightly worrying so far.
With property to a disappointment, there's just one more home to view. Next up is what we believe should be the ideal family home for the Hobbs. It's in Warnborough, a quiet coastal suburb 30 miles south of Perth. Flanked by beautiful beaches, the area has a nearby nature reserve perfectly suited to outdoor activities, so it could be the perfect spot for the family.
I love this
crikey,
garden.
look what I can see over there.
Oh, there it is.
Just go on your tippy toes.
I think it's going to be expensive.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Oh my goodness.
that's not a disappointing start.
This is what I would want.
Really, really nice.
This 5-bedroom house has the wow factor, but George is already worried it'll also have a price to match.
A fantastic place right next to the beach. It's going to be expensive.
And it's even got a pool and it's still right next to the beach.
Which is the double whammy, isn't it? You don't normally get both, do you? Eh?
The larder's got Paula in a spin,
I get excited about places I can put all my food.
and the kitchen impresses too.
Wow, look at this kitchen. No, it's beautiful. It's lovely. It's absolutely gorgeous.
I think this could be a boys' room, Eddie.
Hey.
The Eddie's room.
This could be Eddie's
You'd
room.
like
And
this,
Eddie,
wouldn't you?
look at the view from Eddie's room.
Eddie's got a room with a perfect view.
It would be really good. Like, open the door.
This is like a holiday villa that we
Yeah.
would go to in Portugal or somewhere.
Well, nicer.
But you'd actually be living in it
You'd actually be living in it,
permanently.
yeah.
And it's not in Portugal, it's in Australia, which is far better.
So far, this architect-designed house is living up to expectations of a dream home, and outside doesn't disappoint either.
Whoa! Whoa! Look at this! This is beautiful. Oh,
You feel like you're in
it
Paradise,
is really, really beautiful. You do feel like you're in paradise.
The house has been deliberately positioned in dunes to shelter the outdoors from any sea breeze in the summer.
Oh, crikey, look at that.
You can imagine just diving in there.
Look at the back of the house. That's absolutely beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, never mind millions of dollars, it must be well over a million
Well over £1 million
pounds.
pounds. Well over £1 million pounds.
Upstairs continues to impress.
Oh, look at this.
Look at that view.
Whoa. This is just gorgeous. Listen to that. Look at that.
I thought it was about 1 million, now I'm thinking more like 2.
2 million.
With that view.
This house could definitely be worth making the move for.
This is it?
This is it. This is the
absolutely it.
This is the style of living that we would absolutely aspire to.
It's fabulous.
But will their £700,000 budget be enough to cover the cost?
This is just out of this world and is more or less perfect for us. But it's also going to be way over our budget because this is what we've dreamed of.
Yeah. So this is really quite exciting, Evie. Turn it over. Oh my!
£846,000.
What?
It may be £146,000 over budget, but it's still a lot less than everyone was expecting.
I am gobsmacked because that is unbelievable
That is
for a house like this.
Oh my god.
You almost think we could do that.
Yeah, you do. Oh, I definitely seriously consider going back to work if we could afford a house like this, in a place like this, which actually we probably could.
Their day exploring the Perth property market has been a real eye-opener for George and Paula. Property number 1 proved a hit indoors and out, but was just slightly over budget. House number 2 had plenty of character, but also too many windows and a bedroom 2 open plan. House number 3 was a showstopper, and though it had a price to match, Paula felt it could be somewhere worth working for. So when it comes to properties, will the family vote for Australia or the UK?
We've looked at 3 very different houses, and it's now time for us to vote. Why did you vote for Australia?
Because I like it.
After that last house, I'm not surprised that we voted Australia. It is attainable, what we want. We've realised that today.
We've still got some big steps to make, but property-wise, definitely boxes ticked.
There may be big steps yet to make, but a full house of votes for Oz is definitely one in the right direction for George. George has been dreaming of a life in Australia for over 40 years. But to turn it into a reality, it's crucial the right job prospects exist. Back in the UK, he's been a GP for the past 20 years.
I love my job. I know all my patients very well. A lot of them are friends, and that bit of it's great.
But the admin side of the job means George hasn't as much time for his patients as he'd like.
I'm always pressed for time in the UK because of the pressure of the job. The job in Australia has got to be right. It needs the right salary. Most importantly of all, needs to fit into the life that we're hoping to lead out there.
To find out if that's possible in Australia, he's spending the day at Floret Medical Practice in Perth, where he's met by Dr. Rosanna Capolingua.
Welcome to Floret Medical.
Thank you very much for
having us.
having us.
Nice to see you here.
And
shall we show you around?
yeah, please.
Okay, we actually have an on-site pathology collection centre as well. If I have an urgent specimen, it can be taken straight away, get sent off straight away, and I can have a result within a few hours. It's very efficient.
Well, that's a lot better than England, yeah.
Yeah.
George is impressed and is keen to find out more.
As I understand it, this is your practice
It is.
that you run.
The buck stops with me.
Yeah.
The bottom line stops
I mean,
with
one of
me.
the things I'm
Yeah.
looking to move away from is having all that responsibility of running the practice at home.
In that case, you could come and work for me, and I'd have all the responsibility, and all you'd have to do
absolutely
is look
ideal.
after patients. And my role is to make sure that you have an environment that you can look after patients the very best you can.
How long do you get to see each patient?
Each doctor can do whatever they feel they need to do for the patient and for the patient's needs.
Sounds absolutely ideal for me.
George would ideally reduce his working hours down under, but needs to know if that's a possibility.
So if I say that I'm looking to work 30 hours,
My 2 major income earners here would work about 30 hours a week, and they would take home $340,000, $350,000 a year easily.
right, which is about £200,000, which is more than double what I earn in England, working 40 hours a week, so that's okay.
And in this beautiful environment.
Yeah, and with a beautiful sounding job as well, where you can actually do the job
And they
of a
don't have
doctor.
to do the administration.
And no
or the red
administration.
tape.
That's very interesting, thank you.
My pleasure.
It's a fantastic result for George. Still thinking of their dream home, Paula's now considering a return to work if a move went ahead.
With me working and adding to the family income, I think that would go a long way to helping us get the house that we really love.
Back in the UK, she worked as a nurse before the children came along. So we've arranged for her to meet with Louise McInnes, a fellow practice nurse, to find out what the job would entail down under.
Most practice nurses do here work part-time. It's really good for a family because, you know, you don't have to do shift work, you don't have to do night shift, that sort of thing.
And that's the kind of thing I was doing back in the UK, and it gave me time to spend with the children.
Paula's keen to know if her specialist skills would stand her in good stead in Australia.
Since my speciality, I'd done training in diabetes, and I also did a course in sexual health.
I think obviously if you've got those skills in those areas, that will be really beneficial to getting a job, and you'd be a more attractive nurse for it because you'd be able to run clinics and things like that.
That's a real plus for me, so yeah, thanks for that, that's great.
Just one more question left.
What is the salary, the current salary for a practice nurse?
Probably around 55,000 you'd start on, which is probably around £33,000, and then it would go up from there with experience.
That's absolutely brilliant. That's quite a lot more than a senior nurse would be on in the UK. That's really great news.
It's been an encouraging visit for Paula, but she's completely staggered when she hears George's news.
For 30 hours?
For 30 hours.
£200,000 for 30 hours?
Yeah.
That is so much more than I thought.
That's
well,
that's double and more what I'm earning now.
What you're earning now with...
For less work.
For less work, less stress.
And better work.
Right, you must have nearly fallen on the floor when you heard that.
I didn't fall on the floor, no, but I nearly did. And I was definitely very surprised.
Right. Hey, me high five.
It looks like the outcome of this vote's already clear.
Australia!
No surprises there then, given the salaries.
I'm not surprised. How could you do anything else? Yeah, no.
So that's a real nail in the coffin of the UK today, because the job and the salary and the whole work-life balance for both of us.
For both of us, yeah.
No questions asked.
No, brilliant.
Paula's second vote for Australia is another massive boost for George's dream, but there's still work to be done if he's to convince her to move halfway around the world. Could a day out experiencing some of what Perth's got to offer bring his vision of the family's future one step closer?
Their day starts with a visit to Kahuna Koala Park, where the family get up close to some native wildlife.
Is that lovely, Eddie? Does it feel really lovely holding it?
It's like a sheep.
I think she's so cute. She's so soft and fuzzy.
It's a dream come true for George.
These are my favourite animals in Australia. There they are. Look at them. They're the echidna. They're like a big hedgehog.
They are cute, actually, aren't they? Look at their noses.
Fab.
Keen to explore George's great-grandfather's legacy on the city, the family make their way to the State War Memorial, designed by Sir Joseph John Talbot Hobbs himself. For George, it's a proud moment.
So this was put up for the First World War remembrance, Eddie?
Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it?
And this is to remind the people of Perth about all the people who went and didn't come back.
And at long last, George comes face to face with the statue of his great-grandfather.
There's the sword, there's the medals. Wow. There he is. It's absolutely vast, isn't it?
It's a day he thought would never come.
Ever since I was a little boy, I've dreamt of coming here, and I've dreamt of standing in front of his statue, and here I am, which is... it's been a long time coming. Too long. Too long.
And he's overcome by the occasion.
I'm feeling emotional. This is your history, right in front of you.
Yeah.
Your great-great-granddad up there, big part of Perth's early history.
Sure, definitely.
The day's been a reminder of why George feels Australia should be his home.
I think having seen the memorial and knowing that he designed it, I feel very proud, and a sense of belonging as well, because it's part of my family's heritage, I suppose, and it's also part of Perth's heritage, and the two are entwined.
Exploring the city has also had a positive effect on Paula.
It is amazing here, it's beautiful, it'd be a fantastic place to live.
But she can't help thinking of who she's left behind in the UK.
It's such a long, long way from home, and to sort of leave everything that I've known at home to come over here. And there are many good reasons to do that. It will be a really difficult decision, really difficult.
George knows he's still got a battle to fight.
I think the task of convincing Paula is going really well, but there's still a couple of very big hurdles.
Based on lifestyle, though, will the family vote home or away?
After a quality day with the animals and seeing my great-great-granddad's statue, it's now time to vote.
Australia!
I vote Australia because, like, You can see koalas and kangaroos in England.
No, you
Like,
couldn't.
You couldn't see any of those animals.
And you couldn't feed them.
It's been a fun day and a really emotional day at the same time. To see George in front of his great-grandfather's statue like that, oh, such an important moment, but it's great, it's great. Really happy for him.
It's been a landmark day for George, and a future in Australia could be shaping up to be a certainty. But achieving the perfect life down under will come at a cost, so getting the right price for the family home in the UK will be key. George and Paula think it's worth £650,000. Will two local estate agents agree?
The setting's beautiful. There's trees, lots of space. Great place to have chickens.
Chickens are on.
Yeah, very, very nice. Very nice. Very welcoming entrance hallway. Beautiful floor. Yeah, very good first impression. Smart, very cozy sitting room. Beautiful place. Road noise, you can definitely hear the road from this room. Obviously being on the external wall there, but other than that, a great space.
Ah, he's mentioned the road.
Lovely kitchen. Some interesting features up there. Oh, lovely. I would have thought that fireplace was original.
Doesn't our house look nice?
School photos.
Ah, little lad's bedroom.
Hey!
Brilliant. Again, good size. All the rooms in the property seem to be a good size. Original fireplace and a nice big wide floorboards. Yeah, charming stuff.
Interesting toilet seat. Lovely big bath though. You'd never get me out of there.
Okay. Obviously the smallest bedroom, but by modern standards, a fantastic size. Most people would be quite happy with this. Still got the nice features, the original beams. No, very smart room.
Does that make you pang for home?
Does it? Does it make you want to go back? No.
Okay. So the master bedroom. Very nice. Yeah, very charming room. Very nice place. Ah, the front garden's beautiful. Very well stocked. Obviously well looked after by the owners. Summer house is a beautiful feature. Yeah, it works a treat.
This is a beautiful 5-bedroom farmhouse in a wonderful location. In the current market, I would recommend an asking price of £575,000. For a quick sale, £550,000.
All right, so it's a beautiful farmhouse in a lovely area. In the current market, I would advertise this property for £600,000. If the family are looking for a quick sale, I would recommend £575,000.
The valuations are around £50,000 lower than expected, but...
I think given the news we got about salaries the other day, it's less bad news than it would have been.
We'll probably end up selling it for 575.
I think we will.
Unless somebody comes and loves it, because of the quirkiness of it, we may get a bit more for it, but we'll see. I'm not selling it for nothing.
Now it's time to tackle the cost of everyday living.
Well, I think it's going to be a lot more expensive to live here than in England, but we'll see. Shall we see?
Well, might as well.
OK.
We've provided a comparison of living costs in Australia and the UK. First up is the weekly supermarket shop.
What's that?
Oh, look.
Chicken.
Chicken.
And ham. Much, much cheaper.
Much cheaper.
Much cheaper. Huge difference there. Avocados.
Ah, right, yeah.
Double the price.
Yep, I noticed they were expensive in the shop the other day.
£28.18. That's the difference. More expensive here by £28.
An extra £28 a week on food won't break the bank, but what about the family's bigger outgoings, such as a mortgage? Basing their figures on the dream property they saw...
That's... what? £4,210.
That mortgage figure's huge. It's more than double what we pay now.
It's an enormous increase. So, on a monthly basis, how much more would the couple be spending in Australia?
It's $2,456.72.
But that's for that fab house.
That's for that fab house.
It's a massive amount of money, but George could earn twice as much in Australia. And with Paula also working full-time, could their potential earning power down under turn things around?
£51,231 and 36 pennies a year better off in Australia.
After tax?
After tax, dear me. That's amazing, isn't it? That's really, it's very tempting, isn't it? Look at you.
It's hard to resist, is that?
It certainly is.
That's got to be a record.
That's a life-changing
It is.
difference.
If our family saw that, who could resist that?
That's one big reason to come.
Who could resist that? It's all too good to be true. The goodness that's coming out of Australia, isn't it? Really, truly.
Well, it is, but it isn't, because it is true.
Yeah.
And these figures are fab.
No prizes for guessing how this vote turns out.
It's time to vote.
Australia!
I think that's getting to be a bit of a habit, isn't it?
Couldn't have voted any other way, could we?
We'd have been carted off if we'd voted for England, I think, based on money.
It's great news.
It's definite Australia.
With Paula's fourth vote for Australia, George's lifelong dream could be within grasp. But a move across the world would mean breaking close bonds with loved ones in the UK. And for Paula, the prospect of saying goodbye to her mum could prove too much to bear. We've prepared a DVD of messages from friends and family back in the UK. The family had decided to watch it together.
Hello everyone, it's Mum, as you can see. Hello George, Paula, Edie and Eddie.
Hi Paula, George.
All right. Dad, Paula, Eddie, Evie, I hope you're having a great time and I hope the sun's shining.
Yeah, Paula's a real sort of fun character. She can be really fiery, so she gets that from my dad.
Paula has a really strong relationship with her mum.
I said I wasn't going to do this.
Come on, put yourself together, Mum.
So I love her to bits.
I'm really close to Dad. I always say like he's one of my best friends, so I think if he goes away it'd be quite difficult for me. And not being part of it would be quite hard.
But whenever Paula talks about it, I'm always positive to her, but she knows how I feel about the family and how I've missed them all. But I never say to her, well, I think I might have done. I might have said to her, don't go. hope you hate it.
Yeah, you said that, Mother.
But I would never ask them not to go. No. Oh, just thinking about it's awful.
I can only wish you every good wish and a happy, healthy life, and that you thoroughly enjoy it and you become true Australians.
The thing, if you go away and have this new life, it'll be so difficult for me to stay as close to you as I am now, and that's something which is so important to me, our relationship. And it's just something I don't want to lose, so yeah, I don't really want you to go, if I'm totally honest.
Oh, I find it very difficult. Whatever your decision is, I just hope that you make the right one for you and your family and all the children. I hope it's right for you all. But if it isn't right for you all, come back home. So I miss you so much.
Gone on holiday. But I knew this would get you. I knew this would get you. Oh, it's all right, babe. It's okay.
Certainly gets you in the heart a little bit as a father. I'm sure it got all of us a little bit. You're just being pulled in two directions.
Because it's been Australia all along the way. It has every time. It's been Australia, Australia, Australia. But always in my back of my mind, home's always been there, massively.
We haven't come the last 10 years because of these sort of issues, and in the end We have to make a decision, and that isn't an easy one.
The reality of emigrating can be hard to face, and messages from home have affected the family deeply. After a lifetime of dreaming, Australia has surpassed all of George's expectations, and knowing how much better off they'd be down under has convinced him even more where his family should be. But for Paula, breaking the close bond she has with her mother could be a step too far. As the final vote approaches, could hearing how much they'll be missed have put an end to George's dream?
The trial week has been the culmination of decades of anticipation.
It's been worth the wait because it's everything I hoped for, and in fact much better, and I feel totally at home here.
And has opened Paula's eyes to the kind of life they could have down under.
Australia's got a massive amount to offer me, George and us as a family, and Jack. I love Australia, and if it was simple, I'd be here.
But it's not simple. Knowing what they'd be leaving behind has left both Paula and George torn.
I think for me, personally, John, my son, hearing him talking, and on behalf of Mads as well, was difficult.
I don't know what's going to happen for me. I'm not sure which way I'm gonna vote.
It'd be terribly easy to just stick a vote up for Australia because I love it, but really trying to think, no, this isn't just about saying where would you like to be, it's saying what you're actually going to do.
It's been a make or break week for George, and it's now time to vote. After 40 years, his lifelong dream rests on the final turn of the cards.
After a wonderful week, it is now time for us to do our final vote.
I've got a family of dibberers.
I voted undecided because I would miss all the people at home, and I would miss the lifestyle here.
I voted undecided because I watched that video.
Is that why? Did it just make you sad? Yeah?
Why did you vote for Australia?
I voted for Australia because for us as a family, I think the opportunities here are just too good to turn down. So that's why I voted for Australia, for our family.
I agree with everything you've said, but there's just big issues to sort out back home. Big issues. So that's why I voted undecided, because I really am undecided with regards to family.
I'm not disappointed at all. Undecided is not no, so the dream's definitely not over of coming for any of us. I'm probably more than 50% confident that we'll be here in a few years, or a bit of time.
It's far from the result George had been hoping for, but he hasn't given up on his dream just yet. Who knows? After a short spell at home, he may be able to find a way to make a move work for everyone. Whatever happens next, we wish the Hobbs every happiness.
Find out if the Hobbs family did or didn't make the move online at bbc.co.uk/wanteddownundr. Here at 11:45, searching the treetops for the scene of an accident in the outback. Helicopter heroes down under. Up next on BBC One, Homes Under the Hammer.